Hi, and welcome along to the first edition of Arsenal Fan TV Summer Transfer Daily. Remember, we did this feature during January where we took a daily look at the transfer or players that were heavily linked with a move to Arsenal. Well, we're back to do it all again, to take a look at the players that have been linked with a summer move to Arsenal. And of course, it's a bit different during the summer because we've got the World Cup on, so that kind of delays a lot of the transfers moving, but there are loads and loads of rumours flying around with players being linked with Arsenal, especially when you consider that every agent out there, every player out there knows that Arsenal have got 100 to 150 million pounds burning a hole in their pocket for players that they can sign. So let's take a look at some of the players that have been linked today with a move to Arsenal. Now, I'm going to start off with the player that he's been on everybody's lips, every Arsenal fan's lips, and that is Cesc Fabregas. Cesc Fabregas, Barcelona are saying that he's surplus to requirements. They no longer want Cesc Fabregas. They've got their heart set on signing Koke from Atletico Madrid, so Cesc has got to go. It was rumoured that he's definitely going to come to Arsenal, but over the past day or so, that now seems to have changed. A lot of people out there saying, the so-called experts, I call them, are saying that it's more likely now that he may move to Chelsea. Now, I don't know. I've got so much mixed feelings about this whole thing. I mean, Arsenal apparently got this buyout clause where they've got first refusal on Cesc Fabregas. Cesc Fabregas definitely wants to come and play back in London for Arsenal. He doesn't really want to go to Chelsea. He wants to come to Arsenal. But the thing is, do we need him? We've got Aaron Ramsey. We've got Jack Wilshere. We've got Oxlade-Chamberlain who can play in the middle. We've got Rosicky. We've got, Ozil. We've got Santi Cazorla. We've just got so many of these type of players that can play in that position. And when you really think about it, we don't need Cesc Fabregas. What we really need is a holding midfielder. But then on the other hand, do we really want to see a player of Cesc quality turning up at Chelsea or turning up at Manchester United or turning up at Manchester City? It'd be horrible to see him playing for them. It's a real conundrum, this one. I mean, my thoughts on it is that if we can afford all the other targets that we need, right, and I'm not on about like skinflinting on the money. If we can genuinely afford all those targets, then yes, I'd say get Cesc Fabregas. But if we can't, and we're going to sacrifice one of those real targets that we need just to bring Cesc back, then I'd be saying to myself, well, then we'd have to pass on Cesc. But it'd be horrible to see him turning up at Chelsea. And according to the Metro newspaper, they're saying that Santi Cazorla has said that he wants Cesc Fabregas to sign for Arsenal and that Arsenal should go and get him. So, I mean, imagine Cesc Fabregas, Santi Cazorla, Ozil. I mean, it would give us an absolutely magnificent squad, but I don't know. It's such a conundrum, and this one's going to run and run until we see who Cesc finally decides to sign for. Another player that's been heavily linked with Arsenal, and now this one's really intriguing, Serge Aurier. We all know that Bacary Sagna is looking to leave Arsenal. He's probably going to leave Arsenal as soon as you're able to at the end of this month. When he leaves now, the player that we've been heavily linked with now for weeks and weeks has been Serge Aurier. He plays for the Ivory Coast. Now, if you would have seen this video, and it's been going around YouTube, of a fan who was at the game Ivory Coast friendly, and he took a video on his phone and he asked Serge Aurier, he goes, "Are you signing for Arsenal?" And Aurier says to him, "Yes, I am signing for Arsenal." And he even endorsed it, Aurier, by putting it on his Twitter page. Now, if that to me tells me that this guy must be either crazy and so desperate to come to Arsenal that he's trying to do everything himself to angle the move, or the deal has been done. Now, looking at this kid, he's 21 years old, really top prospect, was one of the players of the season last year in France, can play right back, can play centre-half, a bit like a young Bacary Sagna, really. And, you know, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about him and Jenkinson battling it out to try and get that right back position. But it's certainly, if we're to listen to the man himself, he's saying it's done. He's saying that he's coming to Arsenal. So let's see if that one happens. Serge Aurier, I'm not sure what the fee would be, but I think he'd be a welcome addition at Arsenal. We definitely need to strengthen in that right back position, especially now that we're losing a player of the quality of Bakary Sagna. Another player that we've been linked to is in the goalkeeping position, and that is David Ospina. David Ospina, Colombian goalkeeper, 25 years of age. Currently plays his football in France for Nice. France. We love French players, or we love players that play in France, even though he's Colombian. We love players that play in France. He plays his football in Colombia, kept 13 clean sheets last season. Now, according to a few of the newspapers today, Arsenal are keeping tabs on him. They're going to be watching him closely throughout the World Cup. He's playing for Colombia. Colombia, a very good team, by the way. I'm hoping that Arsenal also, whilst they're keeping an eye at that end of the pitch on Ospina, are also keeping an eye on the other end of the pitch at Jackson Martinez, who's another player that's been heavily linked with a move to Arsenal. But Ospina, Colombian goalkeeper, plays for Nice, will cost about 3.5 million, and we're definitely going to need a replacement now that Fabianski has moved on to Swansea. This player has been heavily linked over the past couple of days to a move to Arsenal, and that is Mario Balotelli. Now, I don't know what your thoughts are on Balotelli coming to Arsenal. Again, this is another tricky one. There is no doubt in this guy has got talent coming out of everywhere of his body. He's absolutely awesome player when he's on it, but when he's not on it, he can be one of the worst players you could have in your team. Could Arsene Wenger bring Mario Balotelli to Arsenal and get the best out of him? There's also been this rumour that Puma would love that deal to go through, particularly that they're now going to be sponsoring Arsenal and they're doing their shirts. They love to have Balotelli over here at Arsenal. Would Arsene Wenger take a chance on him? He'd be very expensive as well. The rumours are that he cost about £30 million. That's the sort of money that AC Milan are looking for him. They're definitely looking to offload him because they haven't got the money they used to have, AC Milan, and they need to bring in players to rebuild. They had a very poor season last year. So it is that he's surplus to requirements. Now, could Arsene Wenger get a hold of Balotelli and do a job with him? That is the question. That is the question. Listen, this guy's bordering on world class. He can become world class. Arsenal would create so many chances for him. I don't know. I'd like to see him come, but I don't know what you guys think about it. Leave it in the comments below. Tell me what you think, if you think Balotelli would be a good signing for Arsenal. And I'm going to leave on this one. There's a fan that has sent in a message. Let me see if I can find his message here through the many messages here. It's Sekeri Nur. He said, don't forget Wilfred Boney. And Wilfred Boney has been linked with a move to Arsenal. Of course, he scored over 20 goals last season for Swansea, Ivory Coast International. We know all about him. He scored against us. Powerful, strong, quick, very, very good player. Scored against some big teams last season as well and proved himself in the Premier League. The only thing is, for about the 20 million price tag, are we getting a player that's too similar if we bought Boney to Giroud? I mean, he's got more pace than Giroud, but on the whole, a very, very similar player to Olivier Giroud. I want to see Arsenal really bring in a sort of different style of striker, but again, listen, he would be a good addition to Arsenal, so I don't know, let's see what happens. Let's take a look at a few of your comments just before I go here. We've got Orin Bold. He says, we need Cesc Fabregas for depth. All right, so he's definitely keen to bring on Cesc Fabregas, and he thinks that it would add to the depth of the squad. And Tom Claydon says, would you all be happy with Loic Remy coming to Arsenal? I think he would be a great contrast with Giroud, as well as an opportunity to play them both in a 4-4-2 formation. It could be a great pairing. Again, what I was told is that Loic Remy is definitely coming to Arsenal, is what I've been told by some Pretty good sources. I can't say what my sources are, and I'm not an ITK. But what I've been told is that Loic Remy is one of those players that's definitely going to be coming to Arsenal. Now, I think Loic Remy would be a great addition, but I don't think it's enough. I think we need more than just Loic Remy. We need another world-class striker. Remember, we've only got, in effect at the moment, two strikers because Bentner's gone out now. So we've only got Sanogo and Giroud. So we need, if we're going to challenge on all fronts equally, we need to bring in a world-class striker. Koza97 says the independent newspaper says that Cesc isn't wanted by Chelsea. It's just as a thought. Now listen, remember, at this time of year, there's lots of rumours flying around. You get a lot of journalists that basically all they do is they just link a player with a club. If Cesc Fabregas, for instance, said he'd love to return to London, if they sniffed that Arsenal not interested, then it's obviously going to be Chelsea, because it's very unlikely. Well, don't do it, Cesc. Don't do it. It's very unlikely that he'd sign for Tottenham. So they just put 2 and 2 together and they say to themselves, oh, it's got to be Chelsea. But let's see what happens. Listen, thanks for all the comments that have been flying in here. I will read them after the show and I'll go through as many of them as I can. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to try and do this almost every day, where we take a look at players that have been linked with a summer move to Arsenal. But thank you very much for watching our Transfer Daily #1 edition here today. We will keep you posted throughout the summer on the players that come in and out of Arsenal and the players that are linked with Arsenal. Thank you very much for watching.